CI library auto generation with some basic test that verifies that configuration can be passed to the simulator. So I plan on extending that one to add forwarding configuration as well, plus traffic test. And probably the only thing that I don't really have an answer for right now is what is our preference for the test for the traffic generation framework? Do you want to do PTF testing? Do you want to use something else?
Okay, I'd like to answer that and also share our progress, which I'm on the verge. Probably we'll have a pull request forthcoming pretty soon. Actually, it's coming in two phases. The first one is we've already done some CI pipeline automation to build all the artifacts and actually run traffic tests, a basic UDP, loop back on the port test. Because without any configuration right now, if you send the UDP packet in, it comes back out on the same port. And so we've actually got tests that verify that and builds the whole pipeline every time you do a pull request or a push. And we're just trying to sew up some loose ends there. So I hope to be able to present that next week if all goes well. And that has a traffic generator component in it. And the one I've been talking about since last summer is using not PTF, which is very popular, but it's actually using an open source framework called Snappy that can scale from software to line rate. And in this case, we're using a software-based traffic generator, which is available from Docker Hub. We call it XCSC. And it actually runs in DPDK, so it's capable of running pretty fast, but it does run in software. So this will be actually an exemplary first use case of that approach that we'd like people to take a look at. I'm very familiar with PTF as well, but if you write a lot of tests in PTF, there's no path to line rate. So we've put a lot of effort into making this a scalable solution. And so that's project one that we're working on. Project two, and I'll need your help, probably Marianne, and maybe help from others, is to put the CyThrift server and integrate it into your libsci. And I've made some progress, but I ran into some problems which I don't know how to solve. And I'm just going to reach out to you, Marianne, very shortly on that.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask a question about Snappy? What is the implication on a setup? What additional software needs to be installed, etc.?
What you need to do is pull Python client library from pip or PyPy. It's available. And pull a couple of Dockers. One is the traffic engine, which you can spin up multiple instances, one per port. And you need to pull a Docker-based controller for that. And then you can write Python scripts to spin this up. And we've got that entire workflow working both from the command line or in the cloud under CI/CD control. So this pull request will be a demonstration of this technique. And once you look at it, you can see how it goes and, decide if you like that approach or not. But it's the one we've been proposing for a long time because you can actually use the same client library to control line rate traffic generators using the same scripts.
And yeah, and how it fits in with the simulator. So basically we have one Docker running the simulator, we have another Docker running the traffic generator, and then the point of connection would be the interface, and you can swap simulator for the physical hardware. And
yes,
that's the idea.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I was a little more ready. I was up till practically midnight trying to debug a couple things, but it's coming along pretty good. And next week, hopefully, I'll be able to do a presentation on it. But the idea is once we get this working, you can do a check-in of anything into the P4. It's under serious pipeline, and other than doc files and things. Any changes you make, it will kick off a build and in the cloud and do a full, end-to-end test of this each time. Another thing I've been working on is improving the turnaround time of the builds. And I've actually created a Docker and put it on my personal Docker hub for now, but eventually we'll have it hopefully in the Azure Container Registry of this Docker tool image that you created, Marianne. If it's pre-built, you can pull it and it spins up almost immediately. There's no build time each time you do it. It takes easily an hour on a fast machine. So we've done quite a few things. I'm just not quite ready to present it yet. That sound of interest?
That sounds really cool. Can't wait for next week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
that sounds awesome.
It's a nice idea to have like the testing environment being disaggregated from the simulator, so you can swap. Yeah, it should be easy to integrate other stuff.
Yeah, and once we present our prototype, then the group can weigh in and we can decide where we want to take things. And people always have new ideas and new requirements. But we've been using this Keysight traffic generator quite a while, and it's being used by some cloud scale people at volume, so it's pretty proven. And like I said, the same client interface can run on line rate hardware as well. So you can scale.
That's the one that we can bring into the cloud on a VM. Is what you're talking about?
That's
eventually?
one of that's one of them. There's different approaches, and we'll have a meeting on that sometime. But that's one of them.
Because we like to, as you know, had discussions that today we have. No, this whole audience knows that, but we have several MBAs that are up in our cloud, and then we generate traffic, in and out of those. And over time, we're going to add more and more. But one of the ways I want to generate traffic is through the software version of an Ixia, so that we use that and some of these basic tests like being run inside our cloud on real hardware, and then look for regressions daily. And so I'm really interested in some of the flexibility that the Ixia software can give us, and we'll just have that permanently running in our Canary and other places in the cloud, so that we can enhance the testing. Because today we do testing, but we don't have all the flexibility to change. It's best for fuzzing and all kinds of other stuff that we want to do. And the Ixia should be able to provide us some more flexibility to do that. And we can use other generators too. We can eventually use a T-Rex as well, but Ixia would make a really good one. So appreciate all the work that they're doing on that.
Yeah, I'll just show it. Thank you. I'll just show a quick, I found the page I wanted. I'll just share this briefly. You can see that's the configuration of this particular test. So these are Dockers, and here's the behavior model, and this is how it's bound. But this could be a physical device, and if these were real Ethernets, this could be a software traffic generator running, and you could be binding it to physical NIC ports. So you could actually have a software-based traffic generator going out NIC ports. So that's one mode, and then this could actually be replaced by a traffic generator appliance running at whatever speed you want. Pick a speed, 100 gig, 200, 800, and the same client and API run. So what we want to do is avoid rewriting tests. So this approach allows you, other than the scaling factor, to use the same basic approach. And so when we do this pull request, it'll be a nice kind of first example for some people to learn about how to do this. And this is
the other cool thing that we're doing that we'll be able to use this with this is we've had traffic sources and sinks for a long time, like NetPerf, etc. but they are limited by the connections per second of the system that we have in place for the cloud today. And now what we're doing is we're actually able to generate a lot more data, a lot more traffic, because we're actually using Sirius on not just the MVAs, but actually the source and sink VMs. So we can use a lot less VMs to do traffic generation now than we used to in the past. We used to have to use around, spin up around 20, and now we'll spin up 2, and we'll be able to get pretty good rates in the cloud to point at the MVAs, etc.
Right. I do want to, disclaimers, this particular engine and this client right here, this is primarily at this point for layer 2-3 streams. And, we're working on adding layer 4 functionality, but it's not available in this particular set of packages at this time. Although you can, you could always create scenarios where it kind of looks like connection oriented, but that's work in progress. As far as the true layer 4 connection oriented testers, the VM versions are available, but those are commercial solutions, whereas this right here, there's a free version and a commercial version. So, but, those are details we can get into later.
Yep.
Anyway, things are rolling along.
Great. Thank you, Chris.
I just want to ask Marian, when's a good time to connect on some of the issues I'm having with Site Thrift Server? What's a good forum? Should I just send you an email offline, set something up?
Let's have a call. We're in the same time zone, right? Pacific.
Yeah, West Coast. Yeah. Okay,
Yes.
I'll reach out to you with some information when I'm ready, and then we can set something up.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. So Chris had asked me, and I've done some poking around internally at Microsoft, and Prince, this has to do with you and I, about the need for a Docker registry for Dash and a resource for GitHub runners. And I was in the building yesterday talking to Gohan, and he said that he felt we shouldn't have an issue. We should be able to put something together like that. I've never done it before, and of course, Prince, he pointed me to you. So if you have someone I can work with in the future, please let me know. And I can also ping you if you're on mute. That's okay. And then everybody, there was a note in the Google group last night, an introduction from his name. I don't know if he dropped off here. There was Madhu Devala from Open Nets offered to help us last night, and so he's actually on this call. So I wanted to introduce him, say hello. Marian, Madhu had offered to help us, and he joined this meeting. And Chris, you had responded to him, so just wanted to say hello to Madhu. Madhu, if you want to come off mute and say hello, yeah.
Yeah. Hello everyone. My name is Madhu Devala. Just started actually on this open network networking, and just started some tools and raising the request. So I thought of helping the community is the best way on the open source side. So yeah, some PRs I'm resolving, I'm updating the docs and learning and helping is always my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's interesting. Madhu, is it correct that you found the Dash project through that other exchange we had on the XCSC support?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So just a little background. It's funny coincidence how things work, but Madhu somehow found my P4 project I did a year ago for the P4 workshop, where I demonstrated Snappy connected to the behavioral model as an exercise I did a year ago. And Madhu found that project, which was kind of unmaintained. It was like a POC I did a year ago. He found some problems with it, and we were interacting. It's an open source project. And I said, by the way, we're going to be doing the same thing in Dash. So he hopped onto the Dash project and immediately started playing with things. So, it's a happy coincidence. And Madhu, I think where you could probably help once we get this pull request and the framework stabilized.
Sure.
Since you've shown a proficiency already and an interest in playing with the Snappy scripts to do traffic generators with DMV2, I think that'd be an excellent place to contribute, because we just don't have enough hands to do all the work. So, you know, I'd be happy to talk to you about that once things get a little firmer. That'd be an excellent place to help.
My pleasure. Happy to.
I didn't catch which company you're from, Madhu.
Open Nets.
Open.
I work for Open.
Yeah, Madhu, Gerald and I are from Azure Cloud, and a bunch of us on the call are from many different companies. So nice to see you. Does anyone else have anything for this meeting? Okay, then I'll go ahead and stop the video, post to the YouTube channel, the normal stuff. And Marian, did we have something we would see next week for the behavioral model outside of Chris's potential presentation that I can put on the agenda?
Yeah, there are updates that Prince had in his design that we need to bring into behavioral model. First being admin state for ENI, and second is a slightly different kind of VNet route. So probably I will have a sync with Prince, and I will introduce those changes into behavioral model. We can review it next week.
Okay.
When
Sounds good.
are we going to have the overlay ready in the behavioral model?
Meaning we already have the overlay.
Oh, okay. We do.
Maybe the question is, when will we have the stateful
Oh.
connection tracking? I think that's the bigger question.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, connection tracking. Yeah, so there was a delay. We wanted to have our proposal to PNA done in order to support cases that are relevant to Dash. It was being delayed, so if we won't make any progress in PNA, we'll just fork their architecture and do it first in our simulator, and then when it eventually will come to the PNA, we can get back in line with them. But we had basically a delay in the proposal to PNA architecture, but it seems to be taking too much time, so we will first do it for Dash to take higher priority and have this working in the simulator. So it's like,
and then maybe they can learn from us, and
we have
we'll
simulator.
Yeah, that's also community based. Marianne, if you can, if you want to present in the PNA group, you can always schedule the time with Andy, or I can inform Andy if you like.
There is proposal already. Proposal
Yep.
is already in the PNA community, it's just not yet being merged. We have a PR there.
There is
it
a
was
PR?
reviewed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a question, Marian. Yeah,
Yes.
so Marian, I was wondering if there are any issues related to the simulator code that are in the pipeline, or because I can see all the issues that are open in the backlog now are related to the P4 dash pipeline. So I was wondering if there is anything that is in the pipeline related to the simulator code, or any issue that is upcoming.
Not simulator directly, because it was already fixed. So we have match types that are new to the simulator, which is list match types. They were added already by Kasim, if I'm not mistaken. However,
Yes.
we still have missing piece in the compiler itself to support it. So not really in the simulator, but we have gaps in the compiler.
Okay. Thank you.
So, Marian, this piece is needed for us to have the complete ACL implementation, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So today, whatever we have, just I guess placeholder implementation of V4, it is it is dependent upon that. And then, subsequently, once we introduce the V6, that also requires this piece. Okay, thanks.
V6 is, I don't think that affects anything.
I thought that for the
No.
V6 ACL, we were waiting for the, let me look here. I thought we were waiting for the connection tracking.
No, I don't think connection.
Oh.
I don't think so.
Okay, sorry. By the way, Hanif, I created the issue for you separately here on line 9. I don't know if you can see it.
No, I did see that. Thank you so much. I think
No
we
problem.
talked about creating that one. Appreciate it.
Requires definition of V6 header and overlay pipeline. That's what we said. We can.
Yeah, I just have to see that, I have to see what are the dependencies, but at least, let me take a look at it, whether or not V4 first needs to be tackled before I can reach to the V6.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, a couple of pieces of good news, guys. Couple of things are in the done state now. We've moved a couple to done. So here, Marian moved these two here to the done state. So we're making progress moving forward. So that's a good thing. And probably at some point we're gonna need to get these backlog items in owner. So maybe we can work on that next time.
Hey, Christina, the row number 14 is also done. I think it's the same issue what I filed, I guess. Yeah.
This one's done?
Yeah, I closed the issue as well.
Number 14.
But have we actually merged this? It required a fork for behavioral model.
Oh yeah, that is actually maybe I'm not sure on that, but because these are two the branches actually what I was talking about. Earlier branch I faced this issue. Now I'm not.
I'm sorry, I can't quite tell who's talking when I'm presenting. Was that Kasim?
No.
I'm going to stop presenting. Sorry. So you're saying number 14's done, but we need to fork the branch?
We need to fork the simulator repository in order to take the changes for to support list matches. We don't have a public fork for Dash community of the simulator. So that's, Christina, what I asked you last time we talked on Monday.
No, I think that though, Chris, was this what we were showing Kasim how to do?
Yes, actually, that is what about what we have an exchange of emails. So yeah, I got that, Chris, and thank you, Christina and Chris, for that. So actually, in that they were saying that we don't actually need to create a fork for under the Azure project. So we can actually create a PR directly from our development fork to the upstream. Yeah, so that's why I think we don't actually need the fork under Azure.
But I don't think anyone will accept these changes into upstream because those matched kinds are not part of the architecture, of the target architecture that is used by the compiler. We are using a modified target architecture.
Okay. So in that case,
then we're back to
maybe Christina will be able to. Yeah.
Okay.
So if it's simpler, we can use my fork. Meanwhile, I can send you a link to my fork, and you can create pull request there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one thing I'd mentioned, Kasim, but it might be Marian pointed out a subtlety, not a subtlety. Said you can do this process, but you still have to then, deal with the process of upstreaming And I don't know what the barriers to that are, but I guess it's a fundamental architecture thing.
So Marian will use his.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right, let's do that. Okay. Thanks, guys. All right. Great.
I just spoke with Andy, and he says that the changes PR that you have raised, Marianne, are a fairly small change, and it makes it easier to implement in open source B4C compiler and also BMV2. So he's looking into it right now.
Wow.
Good.
Okay.
Thanks, Reshma. It's good to know somebody, I guess. Okay. All right. Anything else for this week then? Okay, I'll stop the recording. I'll make it available on the channel, and we'll talk next week. It's possible Chris and Marion will both have something to show us. Thank you very much. And have a
Thanks.
good day. Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Bye,
all.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.